The cemetery was quiet, except for winter wind moving dry leaves across the stones. A single father knelt beside a fresh grave, fingers trembling over his wife's name. His triplet daughters stood behind him, holding each other's hands. They had never seen their father cry before, and it frightened them deeply that morning. He tried to stay strong every day at home, cooking, braiding hair badly, and reading bedtime stories in a cheerful voice. But here his shoulders shook. He whispered apologies to the cold marble, promising he was trying his best. The girls listened silently, unsure whether they should comfort him or simply stay quiet. Lena, the eldest by minutes, stepped closer and placed a small drawing against the grave. It showed their family holding hands under a bright sun. "Mama can see it," she said softly. Her father smiled weakly, wiping his tears, and kissed each daughter's forehead before lowering his head again. Just then, the crunch of tires echoed along the cemetery road. A sleek black car stopped near the gate. A tall man in an expensive coat stepped out carrying white lilies. He walked slowly, carefully, as if every step carried memories heavier than grief itself. The girls watched curiously from behind their father. The man didn't notice them at first. He approached the grave beside their mother's and placed flowers down gently. His hand lingered on the stone, eyes closing briefly. There was pain in his expression, but also familiarity. The girls looked at each other, puzzled by how personal his sadness appeared. Mira tugged her sister's sleeve and whispered, "Why is that rich man crying near Mama?" The father turned slightly, noticing the stranger now. Something about the man's face made him freeze. He felt recognition stirring in the back of his mind, like a memory hidden beneath years of routine survival. The stranger finally saw them. His gaze moved from the girls to the widower, and shock flashed across his eyes. The flowers slipped slightly from his grip. For a long moment, no one spoke. Only the wind answered, brushing across gravestones and carrying distant city sounds into their silence. "I didn't know she had children," the man said quietly. His voice trembled, unlike the confidence his appearance suggested. The father stood slowly, protective instinct rising. He placed his arms around the triplets. "Who are you?" he asked carefully, unsure whether anger or fear filled his chest. The man swallowed hard. "My name is Daniel Hart," he said. Even the girls recognized it. They had heard neighbors talk about the famous billionaire who funded hospitals and schools, but Daniel looked nothing like newspaper photos. He looked smaller somehow, like a man burdened by something unresolved. Daniel pointed to the grave. "I loved her once, long before she met you." The father's grip tightened around his daughters. Confusion filled his eyes. His wife had rarely spoken about her past. She always said she preferred to live forward, not backward, and he respected that silence during their marriage. He expected jealousy, but instead the man's expression held regret. "We were engaged," Daniel admitted. "I was young, obsessed with business. I chose success over her. When I came back, she was gone." His voice cracked. "I searched for years, but never found her. Until yesterday." The father looked at the headstone again. Suddenly, many things made sense. Her hesitation around luxury stores, her dislike of wealth, her insistence that kindness mattered more than money. He had always believed it was simple personality. Now he understood it came from heartbreak she never shared aloud. The youngest triplet, Hannah, stepped forward bravely. "Did Mama love you?" she asked innocently. Daniel knelt to her level, tears shining in his eyes. "She loved me once," he answered gently. "But I didn't deserve it. Your father did. He stayed when she needed someone strong." The father felt unexpected compassion replacing suspicion. This man wasn't here to take anything. He was here because he never stopped caring. Grief connected them. Two men, different lives, but both missing the same woman. The realization softened his guarded stance, and he nodded silently. Daniel removed an envelope from his coat. "She wrote me years ago," he said. "I received it only last week after my old office was renovated." He handed it over carefully. The father hesitated before opening it, aware this letter belonged to their shared past and present simultaneously. Inside, her handwriting flowed gently across the page. She wrote that she forgave Daniel but chose a simpler life. She described meeting a kind man who fixed broken chairs for neighbors and made her laugh again. She said she was happy and hoped Daniel would find peace someday, too. Tears blurred the father's vision. He realized she had protected him from insecurity, never wanting him to feel second best. But the letter proved otherwise. She chose him not by accident, but by heart. The girls hugged his legs while he read the final lines aloud softly to them. Daniel listened with quiet relief. "I always wondered," he whispered. "I thought she left because she hated me." The father shook his head. "No, she forgave you. She just found love somewhere gentler." The statement didn't feel competitive anymore. It felt like honoring her honesty. Lena suddenly asked, "Will you still bring flowers?" Daniel looked at the grave, then at the children. "If your father allows," he replied respectfully. The widower considered it carefully. Then he nodded. "She was part of your life, too. Maybe remembering her together is better than alone." Weeks passed. Daniel began visiting monthly. He never tried replacing their father, but he fixed their leaking roof and funded their schooling quietly. The girls called him Uncle Daniel. Slowly, laughter returned to the home, mixed with stories about their mother both men shared warmly. One evening at the grave, the father noticed he hadn't cried.